Blue moon. It is a full moon in Sagittarius on May 31st. It is a moon that is all about releasing so we can expand, and I am so excited for you to work with this energy. Hi, I'm Mel, aka Pocket Mystic, and I am on a mission to make mysticism more accessible through tarot readings, astrological updates, and guided meditations that fit seamlessly into your schedule. Now, I don't always make an individual video for full moons, but this is one that I do not want you to miss out on. It is really potent, really powerful. There are so many exciting aspects and interactions with this full moon, and I just want you to be able to soak up all the juiciness that it is offering us. I will go through a little bit of the astrology, working with full moons in general, and then a tarot reading to help guide us. And I said all of that, but I also want you to remember that you can change your life whatever you want. It's just that sometimes the astrology is much more helpful for certain things than others. So in this case, if it's time to really chuck something out of your life that has not been serving you, this is a really helpful time to do it. But if you're not ready to do it and you need to do it later, that's fine. It's just, kind of like floating downstream versus swimming upstream. But when we swim upstream, we gain a lot of muscles, right? Okay, so let's talk about this full moon. It is a very helpful one to release what is keeping you from the life that you want. Why am I saying that? Well, it is a moon ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter, as we know, is the master expander. He expands, he grows, he brings abundance. And Jupiter is sitting in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So there's this really beautiful mutual reception that is happening between this Jupiter in Cancer and the full moon in Sagittarius. It's amplifying emotional intuition and asking us what truly nourishes us. But that's why I'm saying it's really this beautiful time to release something so deep in us that has been keeping us from being expanded so Jupiter can expand. There's also Mercury sextiling Chiron, which adds a healing thread around communication and identity wounds, specifically the belief that you have to be ready before you begin. We don't have to be ready. And a lot of what we're probably going to have to do is hold the hand of our fear and say, I understand that you're afraid, but trust me, this is going to be better. And I'll talk about ways that we can do that. Also, I'm recording this from the UK. I'm not in my usual place, so sorry if there's any background noise. I'm doing this really exciting retreat in Glastonbury that I will tell you about later. But we know that the full moon is a time to release. It is not a time to plant. And that's because the moon is at the height of its power and prepared to wane on down. So we also have an opportunity to wane on down something in our lives. And I also think a really interesting practice with the new moon and the full moon is to go back and take stock of what did you plant in the new moon in Sagittarius? What has happened over those 6 months, right? What were you able to plant? What took root? And now what are you ready to release in that area? And generally we talk about, okay, look at where Sagittarius is in your chart. Which house is it sitting in? That's the area we're going to focus on. But similar to the new moon in Taurus, I just think the astrology is so supportive right now that you should really be looking at this holistically for your life. So, with all that, here is my question to you with this full moon. What are you holding on to because you're afraid, not because it's important to you? I have a feeling you know the answer to that question. I certainly know the answer to that question for me. Sorry, there is a dog who wants up. He's joining us so he can help calm our fears down. Thank you, Leo. We appreciate that. I know that my little Cancer rising is so afraid to leave what it already has because it knows that there is security in that, right? It's like this version of ourselves is a hermit crab, and it knows that it needs to leave its current shell so it can go and find a bigger shell, but it's afraid to do that. It's scary to be that vulnerable, shellless version of self, but it's exactly what we need to do to expand. Now, if you're saying, Mel, I don't know. I don't know what I need to release. What am I holding on to that's getting in the way? Then I'd go and listen to the Working with the Devil video that I have up. It's really going to help you to see, like, what have you committed yourself to for whatever reason that is no longer serving you, that's keeping you stuck. Now, if you do know, like me, what I want us to do is to visualize our life without this thing, whatever it is that we need to give up. Is it a habit? Is it a way of thinking? Is it a relationship? Is it a job? Whatever it is, it's taking up our time and energy and getting in the way of us having what we want. So I want us to visualize our life without this thing. Like, what happens in my life if that person is no longer in it? How do I spend my time when I'm not spending it with them? That is what is going to help you, me as well, help us to get our brain and our nervous system on board for that, because it's seeing what is unknown and it's helping it to say, hey, the unknown is not so scary. Look at how good it can be, right? And so that's going to be a really important thing to do on this full moon, to visualize the release of that. I also think always it's really powerful whenever you want to release, if you can do this in a safe way, write it on a piece of paper and let it burn. Let it burn, baby. Throw it in the fire. I think that really does something for our brain and our nervous system to get us on board. So now I'm going to do a tarot spread to help us understand what we're collectively releasing. And as always, you can pull this for yourself individually. If you want to drop what you pull in the comment, I'm happy to share what it means and what the cards are trying to tell you. But now I'll go pull them. Oh, wait, I didn't tell you what they are. Sorry, distracted by the dog. Okay, so first up, we'll have the flame, which is what this full moon is illuminating for us, for you, if you're doing it at the individual level, what's suddenly visible that wasn't before. And then what are we throwing in? What are we consciously releasing into the fire? The belief, the story, the habit, or wound that we're done carrying. Card 3 will be what gets thrown in, whether we like it or not. What is the universe burning away on our behalf? The thing that we're still gripping, that the moon is prying loose from us anyway. Who are we? Who are you in the firelight is card 4. Who are we actually becoming as this burns? Not who we were, not who we're trying to be, but who we actually are right now in the middle of this transformation. And then card 5 is what survives the fire. Do you hear the fire trucks? What's proven to be real and true in ours? What cannot be burned away because it's genuinely a part of us? And then card 6 is the spark that we carry forward. And now I will pull the cards with the assistance of Leo. Leo is a multi-poo, for those of you wondering. Okay, so for card 1, the flame, we have the Queen of Wands. Hell yeah, she is one of my favorite cards. But what is being illuminated here is our own creative fire and magnetism. The Queen of Wands is fully herself. She is confident. She is warm. She is generative. She is generous. A little bit witch energy. And the full moon is showing us that we are that woman. We are full of creative fire. We are full of warmth and generosity and a little woo, right? She is a light source, not just someone standing near the light. We are our own light source, okay? And then card 2, what are we throwing in? We've got the world. This one I was like, whoa, what What? But I think here we're consciously releasing the idea of completion itself, the idea that we are racing to some sort of finish line, some sort of arrival point, some sort of when I get here, then I can move. When I finally have the boyfriend, then I'll be happy. When I finally have the job, then I'll be happy. It's saying throw that away because that is actually keeping us from the here and now and from the magic that already exists in your life. And I think that's really beautiful with our fear. A lot of times we're so afraid because we don't know what the future will look like, but we're not looking at what is already good now. What do we already have that can make us feel confident that we can move forward? And then card 3, what gets thrown out whether we like it or not? We have the Queen of Swords. But I think the universe is burning away the version of us that cuts ourselves off from feeling in order to stay sharp, that thinks that we have to rely purely on our logic, our intellect, our pragmatism. The Queen of Swords knows everything. She sees through everything. She keeps people at a careful distance. She is brilliant, but sometimes we use this as a defense mechanism, right? It's like that line in Girl So Confusing where Lord says, and it's just self-defense until you're building a weapon. How have we been using our intellect, right, our pragmatism to cut ourselves off from our own intuition and to cut ourselves off from the people around us who would support us? That is going in the fire. Our defense mechanisms are going in the fire. And then card 4, who are we in the firelight? We're the star. Isn't that beautiful? After all the burning, the Queen of Wands illuminated, the world, this idea of a finish line released, our defense mechanisms dissolved. We are in the middle of hope itself. We are hope itself. And she is so vulnerable and she is so naked. And it goes back to that kind of fear, right? Of being the little hermit crab. We're afraid to be naked and vulnerable, but we will also be protected in that. The star card comes after the tower. It's not triumphant, it's tender. We are someone who keeps going. We are open, we are pouring ourselves out, and we're all doing it together. And we're all there to support each other. And with what survives, we have the Nine of Wands. Because what cannot be burned away is our resilience, our hard-won, hard-fought resilience. Yes, the Knight of Wands is battle-worn, but still standing and still holding the boundary. Like, we still have the higher ground in this. We still have the advantage in this. It's not stubbornness. It is earned grit. We can be vulnerable and we can be tenacious. We can be vulnerable and we can still protect ourselves. And it's something that cannot be taken away from us. Like, these hard-earned lessons, these hard-earned scars, they have given us so much wisdom and so much clarity. And that cannot be taken away no matter how vulnerable we choose to express ourselves or how much the fire burns, baby burns. And then card 6, the card that carries us forward, we have the Two of Swords, which I think is really interesting. But I kind of think if we go back to the spread that we had for the new moon in Taurus, this card is kind of saying you can burn all this away and you still have a choice. You're still going to kind of feel like you're in a liminal space because we're still living in the old world, right? We're waiting for that as we step into June and July especially. We're waiting for this new world, this new paradigm to change. And so even as we burn this away, we're going to have to choose each day which paradigm are we picking up, right? She has to drop one sword to take off the blindfold. So are you going to keep living in this old paradigm that is being burned away? Although I know you're saying too slowly. I understand. Or are we going to pick up the new paradigm and choose to walk in that? So we can burn this away, but we're still going to be faced with the fact that the world hasn't changed completely as we have. And what are we going to do with that? So I think it's a really beautiful card because it's recognizing that we'll still be in that liminal space, but we can continue to choose this vulnerability. We can continue to choose our magnetism, our charm, our fire of the Queen of Wands, right? So, oh, another fire truck, just to illuminate the point. But the arc of the whole reading is really beautiful. I think we are having our creativity, our fire, our passion illuminated. We are giving up the idea that we need to get to a certain place, a certain end of chapter to choose to live differently. We are letting go of our defenses and we are emerging tender. We're emerging vulnerable and beautiful and protected. And we have our grit and our resilience and our wisdom. And yes, we're still going to be in this liminal space, but that's okay because we're in it a new person. So I really just think it's beautiful. I'm really excited for you to work with this full moon. I'm really excited to hear how it helps you to expand as you release things. And I just want you to know I'm holding your hand too. I sometimes when I'm doing things that are hard, I need my friend to virtually hold my hand so that I can do it. I'm here holding your hand. I am supporting you. If you have any questions or anything that you need during this period, please comment below. I would love to help support you through it. I'm so excited for us and for what's coming in, and I will see you in the June update. June is going to be better than May. So I'm excited to get into it, and thank you for joining me today.